If you've been flying for years, maybe decades, you're not imagining things. Flying really does feel more stressful than it used to. Airports feel louder, planes feel tighter, delays feel more frequent. Even short trips seem to drain more energy than they once did. And what makes it worse is that no one ever explains why. The industry just keeps telling you to arrive earlier, download another app, and be patient. Most travelers internalize the frustration. They assume they're just getting older, less tolerant, or more impatient. They tell themselves they should know better by now. But that narrative is wrong and unfair. Flying didn't suddenly become harder because you changed. It became harder because the system changed quietly, gradually, and without ever resetting expectations for passengers. Air travel today operates under a completely different philosophy than it did even 10 or 15 years ago. Comfort, clarity, and predictability were slowly traded for efficiency, monetization, and scale. The stress you feel is not a personal failure. It's feedback from a system that now asks more of passengers while giving less in return. Today we're breaking down why flying feels more stressful than it used to. Not as a rant, not as a list of complaints, but as a clear explanation of what actually changed behind the scenes and how those changes affect your body, your mind, and your experience from curb to gate. Once you understand what shifted, the stress stops feeling mysterious. And when stress makes sense, it becomes manageable. Welcome to Passport Pointers, where we turn travel chaos into common sense, airline nonsense into strategy, and frustration into understanding. No fluff, no brochures, and no outdated advice. Just honest travel insight that actually helps you fly smarter. Change 1. Air travel stopped being designed around people. One of the biggest reasons flying feels more stressful is also the simplest. Air travel stopped being designed around passengers and started being optimized almost entirely around efficiency and revenue. Decades ago, airlines competed on experience. Legroom mattered, service mattered, predictability mattered. Comfort was part of the product, not an optional add-on. Over time, that changed. Airlines realized that most travelers would tolerate discomfort if the price was low enough, and the booking process felt familiar. Slowly, seats became smaller. Rows tightened. Amenities disappeared. Services that used to be included were broken apart and sold individually. What makes this stressful isn't just discomfort, it's the mismatch between expectation and reality. Passengers still expect a baseline experience that no longer exists. You're not wrong for feeling cramped, rushed, or undervalued. The environment changed, but expectations never did. Stress often comes from unmet expectations more than actual hardship, and modern air travel is full of expectations that are no longer realistic. Change 2. Airports became decision fatigue machines. Modern airports are designed to extract decisions from you constantly. Where to check in, which line to choose, whether to pay for priority, where to sit, what to eat, whether to upgrade, whether to move faster or slow down. Each decision seems small, but together they drain mental energy. In the past, many of these decisions were simplified or invisible. Today, they're surfaced deliberately because each one is a potential revenue opportunity. The result is decision fatigue before you even reach your gate. Your brain wasn't designed to make dozens of low-stakes decisions under time pressure in noisy, crowded environments. By the time you board, you're already mentally tired. That exhaustion makes every inconvenience feel larger than it actually is. When travelers say, "Airports just stress me out," what they're often experiencing isn't fear, it's cognitive overload. Change 3. Time pressure is now built into the experience. Flying used to include margin. Schedules were looser. Boarding took longer. Delays were less tightly optimized. Today, everything runs lean. Planes are scheduled aggressively. Turnarounds are shorter. Connections are slimmer. This efficiency benefits airlines, but it transfers risk directly to passengers. One small delay cascades quickly. Missed connections feel more likely because they are. There's less room for error anywhere in the system. Passengers feel this pressure even when nothing goes wrong. You're constantly watching the clock, monitoring gates, and calculating whether you have enough time. That constant vigilance is exhausting. The stress isn't caused by delays alone, it's caused by the knowledge that there's no buffer if something slips. Change 4. Passengers are expected to self-manage everything. Airlines used to handle many logistical details for you. Now passengers are expected to self-manage almost everything. Check-in, seat selection, boarding passes, baggage tracking, rebooking during disruptions. While technology makes this possible, it also shifts responsibility. When something goes wrong, the burden often falls on you to fix it. That creates stress because you're navigating complex systems under time pressure with limited support. Flying feels harder because you're doing more of the work and being blamed when things don't go smoothly. Change 5. Uncertainty is normalized. Uncertainty used to be the exception. Now it's part of the baseline experience. Gate changes, delays, equipment swaps, and seating adjustments happen routinely. Passengers are told to expect flexibility without being given stability. This constant uncertainty keeps people on edge. You can't fully relax because things might change at any moment. Even when everything goes smoothly, your nervous system stays alert, waiting for disruption. Stress thrives in uncertain environments. Modern air travel is built on uncertainty. Change 6. Social dynamics have shifted. Flying used to come with clearer social norms. Today, planes and airports are crowded with people under stress, operating under different expectations. Conflicts over space, bins, seats, and behavior are more common. This creates a low-level tension that permeates the experience. Even if you're not involved in a conflict, you're aware of the possibility. That awareness keeps you guarded. Stress increases when environments feel socially unpredictable. Change 7. Loyalty lost its emotional payoff. Many experienced travelers feel more frustrated now because loyalty no longer delivers what it once did. Status feels harder to earn and easier to lose. Benefits feel thinner. Recognition feels inconsistent. This creates a sense of betrayal. You did everything right. You stayed loyal, and yet the experience doesn't reflect that effort anymore. That emotional disconnect adds another layer of stress. You're not just uncomfortable, you feel undervalued. Change 8. Travel fatigue compounds differently over time. This part matters, and it deserves honesty. Travel fatigue does change as we age. Recovery takes longer. Crowds feel louder. Tight spaces feel more intrusive. But this isn't a failure. It's a reality that the system hasn't adapted to. Instead of accommodating different needs, air travel has become less forgiving across the board. The stress you feel isn't weakness, it's information. Change 9. There is no clear off moment anymore. Flying used to have clearer phases. Check in. Board. Fly. Arrive. Now, notifications, updates, and alerts continue nonstop. You're always monitoring something. That constant engagement prevents mental rest. Even during the flight, you're thinking ahead to connections, baggage, or arrival logistics. Stress persists because there's no moment when responsibility ends. Change 10. Passengers were never told the rules changed. Perhaps the most stressful part is that no one told passengers the rules changed. Expectations stayed the same, responsibility shifted quietly, comfort eroded gradually. So travelers blame themselves instead of the system. They wonder why they're more irritated, more tired, more anxious than before. Understanding the changes doesn't magically make flying pleasant again, but it does remove unnecessary guilt, and guilt is a heavy part of stress. How to adapt without burning out. Once you understand why flying feels more stressful, the goal isn't to fight the system, it's to move through it more intentionally. That means building margin, simplifying decisions, conserving energy, and adjusting expectations. You don't need to win at travel. You need to arrive with enough energy left to enjoy where you're going. Flying feels more stressful than it used to because the system changed without resetting expectations. Once you understand what shifted, you can stop fighting the experience and start adapting on your terms. Stress doesn't mean you're bad at travel, it means travel changed. Watch this next to avoid the most common travel mistakes. Thanks for watching Passport Pointers, and I'll see you in the next video.